Okay, hi everyone. Today we're talking about shoulder in. Shoulder in is one of the most fundamental and important movements in dressage. And if you think about all the upper level movements like the half passes and the pirouettes and even the flying changes, shoulder in is kind of the parent to those movements. So it's really important to understand why the shoulder in is important, understand how to ask for it, make sure that your horse is symmetrical in shoulder in left and shoulder in right. And this is going to help all of your dressage. So first of all, why is the shoulder in important? When we're training dressage, we're trying to teach our horses to collect and engage. And the shoulder in engages the horse's inside hind leg. It gets the horse more uphill because when the horse engages that inside hind leg, they're going to lift through the opposite shoulder. So if I'm riding shoulder in right, I'm engaging his right hind leg and I'm getting him to lift and elevate in the left shoulder. The shoulder in also works on straightness, so checking that you can do shoulder in equally in both directions. And the shoulder in is the preparation for pretty much all your movements. So a half pass or a pirouette, you always ride into it with a little shoulder in. So now first we're going to talk about what are the aids for shoulder in, and then how to ride it, what to look for, and then I'm going to go through some of the common mistakes that people make. So I'm going to start at the walk. It's a little tricky because we've had so much wind here in Southern California that we can't have a court set up. So I'm going to kind of use the mirror as my rail. It's good actually too to really practice the shoulder in off of the rail, because that really tests your control. Okay, so what are the aids for shoulder in? When we want to do a shoulder in, we want a 3-track movement with the horse bending to the inside. If I'm going to ride a shoulder in right, my right leg is at the girth and my left leg is behind the girth. So I'm sitting on my inside seat bone. I'm pushing on my horse with my right leg. My left leg is behind the girth to keep the left hind leg from falling too much to the left. My horse is bent to the right, and when I'm looking in the mirror here, I'm seeing 3 tracks. So I see the right front leg is 1 track, the left front leg and the right hind leg is a 2nd track, and then the left hind leg is the 3rd track. So when you are riding a dressage test, the judge is going to be looking for clear 3-track movement. So again, right leg at the girth, left leg behind the girth, little flexion right, and I'm trying to see that 3-track movement. And it's tricky here because I don't have a rail to kind of lean on, so I'm really having to try and maintain that line with my inside leg and my outside rein. So I'll show you again. Shoulder in. There. So I'm looking for that right hind leg stepping forward. You actually don't want the right hind leg to cross over the left hind leg, but you want the right hind leg to step forward towards the left front leg. Let me change direction and show you same thing on the left. It's really important before you do the shoulder in, the prerequisite being that you have a good collected trot. Your horse is in front of the leg. Your horse has to be on the bit, and you should have introduced the leg yields before you start the shoulder in. Okay, shoulder in left. Left leg at the girth, right leg behind the girth. My horse is bending to the left now. And again, it's tricky because I don't have a rail, so I'm having to really focus on holding my line of travel. In the 4th level and the I1, you have to do shoulder in on the center line. So it's good practice to practice it not on the rail, even though it makes it much harder. Okay, so that's how to ride the shoulder in. Now, the most common mistakes I see with people, the most common by far is I see neck in. So in a neck in, basically what happens is people just pull their horse's neck in like this without bringing the shoulder in, and they think that this is a shoulder in. So that's not shoulder in. If you are riding down the rail and you're riding shoulder in, you should be able to fit like a human between the rail and your horse's outside shoulder. So let me show you the difference between a neck in and a shoulder in. So this would be a neck in. This would be a neck in. You see how the shoulder really isn't coming in. Let me show it to you on the other side. Okay, so this is a neck in. You see my horse's neck is in, but the shoulders are still straight ahead. So for a shoulder in, I need more outside rein to bring that outside shoulder in. So that's the correction. If you're just getting a neck in, you need more outside rein to actually bring the outside shoulder in. Oh boy. Now the other common mistake that I see in the shoulder in is that riders tend to put the inside leg back and the outside leg forward. And this is incorrect. So in your shoulder in, if I'm riding shoulder in left, my outside leg should not be up here. If I'm riding shoulder in left, my outside leg should be here behind the girth, because my outside leg needs to prevent the hip from falling out. So that's really important if you have gotten a comment in your dressage test about that your shoulder in needs more bend, or that your shoulder in is just a leg yield down the wall. That's because your legs are in incorrect position. So you need inside leg at the girth, outside leg behind the girth in order to correctly bend your horse. So I'm going to show you just quick here how the shoulder in sets you up for your half passes. So if I'm going to ride a half pass, I use shoulder in, my inside leg at the girth, my outside leg behind the girth, and then I can easily go into a half pass from there. And then if I lose the bend in my half pass, I ride shoulder in again, and then I continue with my half pass. Let me show you that once to the left. So again, that's where the half pass really is the parent for the shoulder in really is the parent to the half pass and the pirouettes, teaching your horse to get straighter and more engaged. Okay. So I'll show you two on the center line here. So here I have a shoulder in right, my left leg is back, I'm sitting on my right seat bone, then I can ride a shoulder in left. Oh boy. And then also always make sure, if you're working a lot on shoulder in, to do something a little forward in between. So ride a little forward trot, take some of the pressure off your horse. You don't want your horse getting frustrated or stuck, and then letting your horse stretch a little down afterwards. Ooh.